So the whole point today is that we've had a little discussion already, and I thought that you're quite an interesting guy, and I thought it'd be nice to have a recording of it. So I understood that you do negotiations, and there
Yeah.
is specific type of negotiation. So first of all, if you could let me know what negotiation you do, and how did you first get involved in it? Because it's not the sort of thing you do at school as a GCSE, is it?
No, no, it's not. Although perhaps we should. I think kids should be trained in these kind of skills, definitely, at school. But yeah, I got into negotiation about back in 2007, and I joined a negotiation training and consultancy firm, and I was there for 10 years. And that allowed me to deliver advanced behavioral negotiation training, work with clients on negotiation initiatives like price increases, price decreases, employee relations negotiations, working across the globe. I worked all across Europe, across the Asia Pac and Americas, delivering training and delivering negotiation consultancy and advisory services. Um, yeah, so that's how I kind of got into it, and I've been immersed in the subject ever since, really.
And does anyone ever die?
Everyone dies eventually, yeah.
That's a bit
No one
morbid.
dies. It's not hostage negotiation. So no one,
Yeah,
no one.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So the negotiations that I focus on are commercial negotiations. So they focus on business to business negotiations. They tend to be a lot of the people I work with are in the sales side, but I also work with procurement a lot, often marketing. And when it comes to the employee relations, and that's usually HR or the leadership team, don't haven't usually worked with the unions themselves. It tends to be from the business side. But
Mm.
my experience is been very. I've been very lucky to work across all business sectors. So I've worked in pharmaceutical, in FMCG, retail, professional services. Worked with some lawyers, as well as manufacturing, industrial. So I've got quite a breadth of experience across those business sectors, as well as in the different countries and different cultures.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it. So, hard question for you now.
Mm.
So, how does like from a business side, because obviously, we're talking about business now.
Yeah.
How does like would my business know that they need to have a negotiator? How would I know that now's the time to bring you in? This is what we need to increase our sales. How do I know that that's the point? What's my measurement? What's my KPI that I'd need to know that this is we need you? How would I do that?
Yeah, I like that question. So quite often the companies that I work with, where they've got sales teams and where they're looking at the profitability of their deals. So the measurement is really on profitability of your deals. So usually the time that I get brought in is the conversations I have are our discounts have gone out of kilter, we're giving too much discount, or our profitability isn't where it should be, because we're giving too much away.
Mm.
Um, but usually it's I've got people that are negotiating deals of a certain amount, and that just depends on the organization and on the level of deals that they're doing. The negotiation of deals a certain amount, and they need to invest in ensuring that those are maximized to the maximum profitability that they can get. Large sums of money that they need to that they're negotiating with. So I could be training a junior buyer at a big retailer who's actually responsible for negotiating 2, 3, 4 million pounds worth of
Okay.
purchases. So you
Yeah.
need to train that person to know what they're doing in negotiation. Or we could be working with a team that is negotiating with a big retailer on the sales side from a supplier side, and it's worth a few £1 million a year in revenue to that supplier. So those negotiations have to be maxed out.
Yeah.
I get brought in consultancy wise during harder times.
Yeah.
So when things aren't going so well and someone needs some quick advice and some quick changes,
Mm.
and or specific initiatives like we're going out to the market with a price increase, we're going to need some help with this, or we're going out to
Mm.
the market to change our trade terms in some way, like payment terms or contract lengths or whatever it might be that we're trying to get. Or our whole business is changing from a price per X to a recurring revenue model. Well, that's a whole new negotiation. So we need
Mm.
help in strategically putting that together, and
Yeah.
that's where I would often be brought in to
Okay.
support.
Is that for both sides you can be helping to train? So it's not so in like in my case, it'd be like you'll be on the buying the business side, so you'll be able to help with the negotiating that side, or is it only on the the seller's side where you'll be helping them negotiate the best selling price? Because I want to get the best buying price or the best conditions for that. So can you help on both sides, or it's just one side you specialize in?
It really, yeah. So it comes down to the specifics of it. So usually I'd only work on one side, just because of the conflict of interest, because I know the
Yeah,
information, right?
yeah,
So if I was engaged by the buyer, then I work on the buyer side. If the customer then said, "Can you help us?" I'll be like, "I can't help you because of the conflict of interest."
yeah,
So I'd only work on one side there. Where I may need to broker a deal or mediate. So in the world of M&A, that's slightly different because I'm sort of brokering the deal between both sides. It all usually within the M&A, because of due diligence, everything's on the table, right?
yeah.
There's no hiding anything. That's the point.
It
Of
just
the,
shouldn't be. Yeah, it shouldn't be any
it could
hiding.
be often something comes up, right? But so I can mediate and broker the deal in order to get the deal done. Because the thing about negotiation is, people say, well, you've got to give the seller a fair price for their business, but you got to be careful with the term fair, because
Mm,
who's it really fair to? So if you give one person a fair price, that means the other person's paying too much.
mm,
Or if they let the buyer get the buyer a fair price to buy the business, then does that mean the sellers had to compromise on the value of their business?
yeah,
So forget the word or term fairness, because there's nothing really fair, because it's not fair to both, never be fair to both sides.
mm,
But what you got to try and do is what my job is to create a satisfactory deal, so both sides feel satisfied
mm,
with the terms of the deal that they've agreed to, rather than focusing on is it fair or not fair. It's all about satisfaction.
yeah,
So my job is to
perfect.
create that satisfaction between both parties.
Yeah, perfect. So, how do people find you? Like, obviously, I know how to find you, but like, obviously, people know we're watching this little video and stuff. Like, how would they be able to get you? They know how to find me already. I'm at stationhillcapital.com,
Yep.
but how would they be able to find you? What's the preferred method?
Well, my website, chameleonpartnership.com, all one
Okay.
word,
Yeah.
chameleonpartnership.com. Also on LinkedIn under Paul O'Donnell, you'll find me on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah.
But I'm active on other social networks. So if you search for me or search for Chameleon Partnership, you'll find me. So feel free to do that.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you very much. Nice, insightful, very different business. I don't usually talk to this other thing, but thank you very much for your time, and we'll catch you a little bit later.
Great. Thanks,
Bye.
David.
Bye.
Cheers.